Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Eniola, what is going on here? I trusted you with all my heart. And this... Tunde, you! For how long has this been going on? Not what it looks like. So, what is it then? Bible study?
Like and subscribe.
The Lagos sun filtered through the blinds of Dapo Alade's penthouse apartment, casting golden lines across the polished wooden floor. It was the kind of morning that made the world feel full of promise. A soft breeze carried in the scent of sea salt from the distant Atlantic. Dapo stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the sleeves of his crisp white shirt. He took a step back and studied his reflection. A man in his early 30s, tall, fit, immaculately dressed in a blue suit and white shirt. His beard was trimmed, his skin smooth from a fresh shave, and his eyes, those deep brown eyes, held expectation. Hope. Even a touch of nervousness. Today was not just any day. Today, he was going to propose. Eniola Omatosho had been the light in his life for the past 3 years. A corporate lawyer with an infectious laugh and a brilliant mind, she'd stolen his heart from their very first date at a beachside art exhibition. They had weathered the chaos of Lagos life together: fuel scarcity, third mainland traffic, unpredictable NEPA outages, and had emerged stronger. He had known for months now that she was the one. The engagement ring, a 2-carat cushion-cut diamond set in white gold, rested securely in his breast pocket. He'd chosen it after 3 trips to a high-end jeweler in Victoria Island. He wanted it to be perfect. Just like the proposal he had rehearsed 100 times in his head. Sky Garden restaurant, on the rooftop, under the stars, the lights of Lagos twinkling below. He had even called Eniola's mother in Ibadan to ask for her blessing. The woman had cried with joy. Everything was in place. He grabbed his car keys, slipped on his watch, and headed down to the garage. His sleek black Mercedes purred to life, and he eased onto the Lekki Expressway, humming to himself. But as he passed the Freedom Way exit, a strange unease settled in his chest. It started as a whisper. A passing thought. Maybe I should stop by her place. It was ridiculous. She thought he was at a tech conference in Ikeja. He'd crafted the lie carefully to keep the proposal a surprise. Still, something inside him insisted. He took the next turn and headed toward Yaba. Eniola's apartment sat on the 3rd floor of a well-maintained building tucked in the quieter end of Yaba. It was the kind of place Dapo had always appreciated. Neat compound, trimmed hedges, painted in a cheerful orange hue with balconies adorned by trailing green plants and small flower pots. It was exactly her style, organized, alive, intentional. He parked across the street and stared up at her balcony. The curtains were drawn. Nothing seemed out of place. Still, an unease tightened in his chest as he crossed the road. The gate to the compound was slightly ajar, swinging gently in the breeze. That was unusual. Eniola was the kind of woman who double-checked every lock, who wouldn't even microwave her food without wiping down the buttons afterward. He climbed the stairs slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. The hallway smelled of air freshener and something faintly floral, her signature scent. But when he reached her front door, his heart skipped. It wasn't closed all the way. Just resting against the frame, as if someone had walked in hurriedly or forgotten to shut it. He pushed it gently. It creaked open with barely a sound. "Eni," he called out. No response. Then, from the back room, soft moans. Muffled. Followed by the steady, unmistakable creaking of a bed frame under motion. His blood turned to ice. On autopilot, his legs carried him toward the bedroom. He didn't know what he expected, but what he saw broke him in places he didn't know existed. There she was. Eniola. His Eniola. Naked, her body glistening with sweat, tangled in cream-colored sheets beneath another man. Not just any man. Tunde. His best friend. His brother in everything but blood. The one who had stayed up nights coding with him in university, who had helped him move into his first apartment, who had toasted with him when he got promoted. Tunde's eyes widened as he scrambled away from Eniola, fumbling for his boxers. Eniola screamed, clutching the sheet to her chest, a look of pure horror on her face. "Dapo," she gasped. For a moment, the room was thick with silence, like the universe itself had stopped to watch the scene unfold.
Tunde, you! For how long has this been going on?
Tunde finally found his voice. "Bro, it's not what it looks like." Dapo blinked. His voice came out low, sharp.
Not what it looks like. So, what is it then? Bible study?
Tunde lowered his gaze. Ashamed. Silent. The box in Dapo's pocket, the ring he had picked with so much hope, felt like fire against his chest. He turned around, said nothing, and walked out. It began to rain on his way back to the island. A soft drizzle at first, then a relentless downpour that blurred the windshield and muted the city's chaos. But Dapo didn't notice. His hands gripped the wheel tightly, knuckles pale, eyes fixed on the road though he saw nothing. The city lights stretched and smeared like tears on glass as he drove without a destination, the Lagos skyline flashing past in fragments. Billboards, Okadas darting between cars, a hawker soaked to the bone. He drove for hours, led only by the numbness in his chest. When he finally stopped, he realized he was in Oshodi, gritty, noisy, and a world away from his Lekki comfort zone. The air smelled of smoke, wet earth, and fried plantains. He pulled into a run-down hotel with flickering fluorescent lights and a cracked signboard. He paid cash at the front desk and used a fake name. No questions asked. Upstairs, the room was small and stuffy. A single bed with threadbare sheets, a ceiling fan that creaked with every spin. He shut off his phone without looking at the notifications, dropped it on the bedside table, and collapsed onto the mattress fully clothed. Then he turned off the light. And just lay there. The silence roared in his ears, louder than Lagos traffic. His mind played the scene again and again. Eniola's gasp, Tunde's shame, the glint of betrayal like a knife in his gut. The box in his jacket pocket now felt like a cruel joke from the universe. The calls started the next day. First Eniola. Dozens. Then the texts, short, frantic, pleading. Then came Tunde's voice notes. Long, stumbling, pathetic. Apologies laced with regret. Explanations no one asked for. Promises to make things right. He read none of it. Listened to nothing. He couldn't. A week passed in a haze. Food tasted like paper. Sleep was fragmented. When it came, it brought nightmares. He didn't shower. Barely moved. One night, desperate to escape the walls closing in on him, he wandered into a local bar in Mission. He drank cheap beer, then stronger stuff. Whiskey. A gogoro. Whatever the bartender slid across the counter. He wasn't trying to forget. He just didn't want to feel. Stumbling outside, disoriented and raw, he was swallowed by the noise. Shouting bus conductors, honking danfos, music blasting from portable speakers. And then he saw her. A slim girl, barely 20, arguing with a man at a kiosk. "Na 200 naira you give me. I give you 500 change. I no be thief," she barked, eyes fierce. Dapo stepped in, handing the man an 1000 note. The man muttered and walked off. "You okay?" he asked. She blinked, surprised. "Yes, thank you, sir." "Don't call me sir." She tilted her head. "Okay. Thank you, mister." Dapo. I'm Zara. He didn't know why he offered to buy her food, or why he sat with her in a buka beneath the bridge, eating a mala and uidu like an old friend. And just like that, something shifted. Maybe it was loneliness. Or maybe it was grace in disguise. Zara was full of contradictions, sharp-tongued and soft-eyed, guarded like a cat in an alley, yet curious like a child seeing the ocean for the first time. She had a wit that could cut, and a laugh that made strangers turn their heads. She spoke Yoruba with fierce clarity, as if every word was a declaration. But when she switched to English, she slowed down, deliberate, careful, almost ceremonial in her pride. She told Dapo her story not all at once, but in fragments, like puzzle pieces scattered over the course of several weeks. Over bowls of steaming amala and late-night strolls under flickering streetlights, she revealed her life in measured doses. Her parents had died in a car crash when she was 12. She was taken in by an aunt in age who treated her like unpaid labor. At 14, when the beatings and hunger became too much, she ran away. Slept under bridges. Bathed behind fuel stations. Sold sachet water and gala at bus stops. Cleaned shop floors for coins that barely bought bread. She had witnessed things most people couldn't imagine. Abuse, exploitation, girls disappearing in the night, friends never returning. Yet through it all, she carried herself with a dignity that defied the grime and chaos of her environment. But one thing she made clear. I never sold my body, she said one evening, eyes lit with defiance. I'd rather die than let Lagos swallow me whole. Dapo believed her. He didn't interrupt. He just listened. Really listened. And for the first time in weeks, he felt something break open inside him. Not pity. Not guilt. But connection. Like someone had finally looked at him, past the pain, past the mask, and saw the man beneath. They began to meet nearly every day. Sometimes it was for a shared meal, sometimes just to walk and talk. She told him her wild, unfiltered dreams, writing novels, starting a center for street girls, becoming someone other than what the world expected. She borrowed his books, underlined words she didn't understand, practiced pronunciation on a battered phone using dictionary apps. Her hunger for knowledge was ravenous. When Dapo gently offered her a place to stay, she narrowed her eyes. Men always want something in return. I don't. How do I know that's true? You don't, he said. You'll have to trust me. And after a long pause, she did. He rented her a modest flat in Suryalir, enrolled her in online classes, bought her a used laptop, watched her bloom like something long buried under concrete. And one day, while she was laughing over a mispronounced word, it hit him like sunlight through storm clouds. He was in love. There was no fanfare. No dramatic music or kiss in the rain moment like in the movies. Just one quiet evening in Dapo's living room, with the soft hum of the fan overhead and the faint scent of jollof still lingering in the air. Zara sat curled up on the couch, barefoot, her legs tucked beneath her as she read aloud from Purple Hibiscus. Her voice trembled slightly as she reached a particularly emotional scene. She paused, wiped her eye, and gave a small laugh. This book's trying to kill me. Dapo didn't laugh. He just reached out and gently took her hand. You have a beautiful soul, he said, his voice low, sure. She froze, her eyes searching his face for any sign of pity or performance. You don't have to say that. I'm not flattering you, he replied. I'm stating a fact. Her smile faded into something more serious. I'm not like Eniola. I don't have degrees or elegance or any of that. I know, he said, softly. That's exactly why I love you. And she broke, tears streaming silently, not because she doubted him, but because she finally believed it. They kissed then. A soft, slow meeting of lips. Not perfect, but real. Healing. A year later, there was no rooftop proposal. Number 2 carat diamond. Just Dapo kneeling beside her on a Sunday morning, sliding a simple ring onto her finger while she wore his old t-shirt, her hair messy, no makeup. And she said yes. The wedding was small. No chandeliers or grand ballrooms, just a modest church in Ikeja with chipped walls, plastic white chairs, and a handful of loved ones who had become family. There was laughter, tears, and the warm scent of party jollof rice served on styrofoam plates. A local DJ played old-school Nija love songs through crackling speakers, and the cake was from a small bakery down the street. Zara wore a second-hand gown they'd found in Yaba Market, a simple, off-shoulder satin dress that hugged her slender frame like it had been stitched just for her. Her hair was braided neatly, her smile brighter than any diamond. She looked like royalty. And to Dapo, she was. As they exchanged vows beneath flickering ceiling fans and a cross made from painted plywood, Dapo felt something he never thought he would again: peace. Real, anchoring peace. He didn't think about the past anymore. Until the call came. Dapo. The voice was thin, hoarse, familiar. Eniola. He paused. Yes. There was a long silence. Then, I tested positive. HIV. It was Tunde. He knew. He didn't tell me. His breath caught. I'm sorry, she whispered. For everything. For what I did to you. Dapo closed his eyes. But the old fury didn't rise. Instead, there was a quiet release, like exhaling pain he'd held for too long. I forgive you, Eni, he said gently. She began to cry. You do. I do. But I've moved on. Please, don't call again. He hung up. That night, he found Zara on the floor of their living room, laughing with 3 street girls she had taken in. They sat around her, giggling over picture books, sounding out words. Their joy was contagious. He walked over, kissed her forehead. Thank you. For what? For saving me. She smiled. You saved me first. And for the first time, he believed it. Months later, on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, Tunde showed up unannounced at Dapo's office. The receptionist looked uneasy as she buzzed him in. Someone's here to see you, sir. Says his name is Tunde. Dapo's heart stalled for a beat. He hadn't heard that name in months. When Tunde walked in, he was barely recognizable. His frame had withered, his once broad shoulders now slumped. His eyes were sunken, rimmed with fatigue, his clothes hanging awkwardly on his body. I lost everything, he said quietly, standing awkwardly in the middle of the office. Eniola's family won't speak to me. I got fired. My friends disappeared. I messed up. I know. I wanted to say I'm sorry, bro. To your face. Dapo sat behind his desk, his fingers laced, expression unreadable. He remembered their university days. Shared rooms. Shared dreams. Shared loyalty. Until betrayal shattered it all. I hope you've learned something from it, Dapo said, voice calm. But we can't go back to how things were. Too much has changed. Tunde nodded slowly, shame in every line of his face. I understand. There were no hugs. No dramatic parting words. Just silence as Tunde turned and walked away. And that was the last time they ever spoke. Zara's community center started in a single rented room in Ajagunle. With Dapo's funding and her relentless passion, it grew into a movement. They opened 2 more shelters. Provided food, medical checkups, basic education. Her story inspired donors and volunteers. One evening, as she practiced a speech for the center's first graduation ceremony, she held the paper in trembling hands. I used to think I was worthless, she read aloud. Now I get letters from girls saying I saved their lives. Dapo stood behind her, arms wrapping around her waist. You did, he whispered. She leaned into him. And you gave me the chance to become who I was always meant to be. No, he said, kissing her cheek. You already were. You just needed someone to believe in you. Their hearts had been shattered. But when they broke open, grace poured in. And together, they rebuilt something beautiful.
Thank you for watching. Tell us your opinion in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chukwidia Lawler Studio at Chukwidia Lawler.
Like and subscribe.